good morning. Well, it's morning for me, so wherever you are, I hope you're having a fabulous day. I thought we could rip a little bit more on audience because before you write anything, before you start one PowerPoint slide, stop. Stop and think about your audience. It's the habit that is most important for you to be a good communicator. You want to think about your audience and what their why is, just like Simon Sinek talked about in his TED Talk. Remember, our goal with communication in nutrition as dietetics practitioners is to change behavior. That is our ultimate goal. Through our communications, we will change our audience's knowledge, we'll provide them with new information, but that's not enough. We know knowing is not the same as doing. We also may need to change their attitudes, values, and beliefs. Remember my conversation and story about the soda tax and elected officials whose attitudes, values, and beliefs was not in alignment with the soda tax. I could have given them knowledge, which I did, but I didn't change their attitudes, values, and beliefs, which didn't allow them to change their behavior. So when you're thinking about behavior change, understand that knowledge is important as well as attitudes, values, and beliefs. You'll want to understand those three things about your audience as you put together your communication process. Remember Joel Bradshaw, our political pioneer who helped us translate what he did for smoking cessation in California with helping to make California a healthier place to live. And what he told me is that I can talk until I'm blue in the face about the evidence base, facts and figures and charts to back me up. But the bottom line is that you change people's minds, you change people's behaviors, you change people's hearts by understanding what their why is, what is important to them. We saw Simon Sinek's video. I highly recommend you watch it again because there's so much information in that is so good. Simon Sinek shared with us through his examples of Apple, the Wright brothers, and Dr. King, the Golden Circle. And the Golden Circle explains why some people can inspire others and why many don't. And many don't inspire others because they go from what, how, and never even talk about the why. And as an RD, you know what your audience needs to do. I mean, you're tasked with providing them with information on what they need to do. Some good RDs offer even how to do it, but very few include the why. And this is where you're going to be different and you're going to be champions of change because you need to uncover why does your audience care? Examples like why did your audience get out of bed in the morning? Why would your audience want to change? Because we know change is hard. So we need to get to the bottom of the why. And when we go from the outer part of the circle in, we're not inspiring as communicators. We're not communicating from the inside out. And if you're like every other RD, what you would say is eating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables prevents chronic disease. Fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables. Incorporate more at every meal. Use vegetables as snacks. Include in casseroles and soups and salads and smoothies. I mean, it's so uninspiring. But if you said, hey, just like you, audience, I want a rich and exciting life where I feel powerful and confident. I want to have the energy and capacity to get things done. I have no time to be sick. And so what I do is eat my fruits and vegetables. And we expect our clients to change based on the facts, but that's not why they change. They based on the feelings. And remember, Simon Sinek talked about the fact that this golden circle correlates to biology and to our cross-section of the brain. And he talks about the what correlates to our neocortex or our prefrontal cortex, our Homo sapien brain. It's the what level. It's our rational, analytical thought and our language. But the how and why, this is where all the decision making, this is where all behavior comes from, the why, okay? And there's no language. There's no capacity for language. So this limbic brain, this lizard brain, is all about feeling. It's all about trust and loyalty and behavior. Not about language, not about facts and figures, not about the evidence base, not about the research. And I know we're trained to talk evidence based and research is important, but when we are trying to get people to change behavior, we need to engage the why. We have to engage the why. And you can do it very easily. It doesn't take hours to engage the why. I can do it in the beginning of a presentation in 1 minute. So before I speak, before I start a PowerPoint, before I write a paragraph, I just sit and think for a moment about my audience's why. When we work from the outside in, our audience can understand important information, vast amounts of evidence, but it doesn't drive behavior. But when we talk from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that does control behavior. And then we provide them with the details to rationalize, with our logic brain. So how to drive behavior change is to engage the audience's why. The why is the audience's feeling. What is their cause, their purpose, their belief? And then how is the action plan and what will be the results? We talked about college football players, that if I had to come in and give a presentation on adequate protein and hydration and supplements to fuel their game, I'd probably talk to them about, hey, calculate your individual protein needs. It's, 0.1 gram per kilogram of body weight. How much protein do you need? This is how many grams of protein are in a typical serving of a chicken breast, an egg, and a protein supplement. Okay, so we'll talk about adequate protein, how to figure it out, what they need to do, where they can get it. We'll talk about hydration and hydration protocol before games, during games, and after games. And we might talk about supplementation on how the evidence base is showing certain supplements can create an edge and other supplements are just garbage, so that's typically what we do, but that's not inspiring to anything. That's not going to change these college football players' protein consumption interest or their hydration processes or the supplements, because we're not getting to the why. And so if we would start with talking about how they want to maintain their scholarships. They'd like a chance with scouts to get into the NFL. They want that status and the prestige and the girls. Guess what? They'll start listening and applying the what's and the hows because we've connected with their why, that limbic brain, that lizard brain that drives behavior. In your presentations, in your article, you must demonstrate a strong why. And how to do that is really think about what your audience wants to feel. It's a feeling thing, you guys. It's a right brain feeling thing. How do they really want to feel? Of course you can say, I know my audience wants to, be a good parent, but what does that make them feel? Confident, capable, engaged, ready. I mean, these are the feelings that we need to convey. And our clients want to be happier. They want to feel happier, healthier, wealthier. They want to feel like they're having more fun, that they have more time, that they're feeling sexy. Do you see how whys are completely different than our facts and our evidence base? We looked at a few examples, and I told you the Mind Diet was a diet that helps to prevent Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. And I forgot what Mind, the acronym, stands for, and it is a mashup between the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. So it's Mediterranean DASH intervention for neurodegenerative delay. Love it. Thank God we have an acronym because mine's so much easier to convey. But we talked about how this student really got into the seniors' why, about remaining independent, about feeling sharp and keeping our memories, about feeling confident and capable of breaking the stigmas. Beautiful. Here's another one from another student's presentation where they talked about with meal prepping. Their audience was college students. And they talked about that Students want to feel less stress. They need to feel like they're capable of managing their time, and they need to feel confident in managing their money. And they might want to feel sexy so that they can, engage that future partner. So I love what the student wrote. With a busy class schedule, use meal prepping to take the stress out of cooking, to save time and money. It's really engaging the behavior of what that college student wants to do. Here's one where a student was talking about breastfeeding for the family, engaging both the mom and dad and the baby. And they talked about that when parents are successful, they want to feel success. They want to feel empowered. They want to feel less stress. And when this happens, everyone feels better. So involving everyone in the behavior. And when you're talking about your audience and thinking about their whys, think about when they walk into your classroom. Where are they? Where are they in terms of what they know, how they feel, what they're doing? And as an RD, where do you want them to go? Where do you want them to be when they leave the classroom? What knowledge do you want them to have gained? What values, beliefs, and attitudes do you want them to feel? Okay. What behavior do you want them to start doing? And so that's typically when I think about my audience is where are they and where do I want them to go? And then my presentation is going to get them there. And when you're thinking about your audience, I remember one time I had to do a presentation to teens, which is one of my most cringeworthy audiences. I just feel really awkward around teens. And I knew that I needed to, in the beginning, connect with their whys, but I was so far removed from teens and had a little bit of an attitude. So I thought, well, how can I get to know teens since I have no teens in my life? And I just went on my Facebook and asked parents about what teens, what's their why, especially because I was kind of in a different generation, So I wanted to connect with their why without acting silly or stupid, but I really wanted to hit the mark. And so I went out on Facebook and I got so much great information about teens, and I nailed it. I nailed it. These teens and I connected so easily. They were empowered. They were engaged. They, were really eating out of my hand when I was talking about the hows and the whats, because I had so connected with them, and they were trusting and they valued and they were loyal and they wanted to please. And it was just great. It was a great experience. So you can find out about your audience in so many different ways. I mean, you could just GTS it. You can ask, the person who is organizing the presentation. They're going to be great information on your audience. You might even, if you're doing a presentation to the audience you're currently serving, you might have data on them that you can collect, you can look at. I mean, you could do formal audience research and focus groups and surveys and all that kind of fun stuff. It just depends how much time and money you have. I mean, I've worked on grants where the first year of a multi-year grant has been just audience information gathering, you know what I mean? Where we did very strict and engaged audience surveying, and it took a lot of time to set up and get it done and analyze, but it was helpful for us to do our interventions appropriately. So, if you've got the time and the money, I mean, spend time in audience research, but most of us don't have time and money to do that. So the best thing is to do the best you can. But before you write anything, before you put one PowerPoint presentation slide together, stop and think about your audience's why. Think about who's going to be in the audience. Who are they? Just who are they? Who are they? Are they salespeople? Are they seniors? Are they expecting moms and dads? Are they people who are struggling with their weight? Are they people who have lost a lot of weight? Are they people recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? Are they people who have managed their type 2 diabetes for years? Who are they? Just find out who they are. And ask yourself, what do they know, or what do they already understand that I can build upon? I mean, it's just nice as a presenter to connect upon adult learners and where they are. They come into the classroom with a lot of savviness and experience and background. So can you connect on that? Or what might be problems that I need to overcome? Are there myths? Are there misconceptions? Is there trends or fads that you might need to approach and debunk? And then finally, what do you want them to feel, what do you want them to know, and what do you want them to do? So again, our goals with any communication is to change knowledge, to change attitudes, values, and beliefs, and to change behaviors. So think about these strategically as you are gathering your audience information. And always start here. I just can't tell you enough that this is one of the best habits you can be as a communicator. As a nutrition educator, as a communicator, translating the science to the audience, the best thing you can do is take a minute and think about your audience first and foremost before you do anything. So think about your audience. And right now I'm in the thrust of writing a lot of recommendation letters for grad schools and DICUS. And, these kids are giving me their personal statements. And I'm like, you haven't even thought about your audience. Your audience. Think about your audience and who's reading these personal statements. Think about your audience, when you're, writing your resume. Is it going to resonate with your audience? So that's why every resume should be customized to the audience. So, again, whenever you write something, whenever you develop a presentation, just stop. And if you can start this habit, it's the best habit because it'll take you places. Stop and think about your audience. Think about their why, because always remember, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Just like Simon Sinek says, people aren't going to change their behaviors because of the facts. They're going to change their behaviors because of the feelings. All right. So your mission today is to send me your topic, your audience, and their whys, and spend some time thinking about that, and I'll give you some feedback. Until then, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Can't wait. We're going to have lecture and lab, and it's going to be FUN. Okay. Reach out if you need me. Bye-bye.